Alright, welcome to Don't Think Just Charge. My name is Ed and I'm doing something a little bit different today. Basically, I was supposed to film a battle report and I couldn't be asked and I rearranged it to another day. My cat is meowing in the background. Oh, do you want some attention? And then I just couldn't be asked multiple times in a row, and here I am an hour before a video is meant to go up and I have nothing. So I thought what I'd do is we could go through a quick idea about how to come up with colour schemes and use colour theory, although I'll only touch on that briefly. But yeah, right, before I get started, everything here is kind of just my general principles and guides. I don't always stick to these exactly. They're not necessarily meant to be a hard and fast rule. They're just a really nice way to kind of get you into a mindset, get you thinking about those colors, and then go from there. So the first one is going to be your main color and your secondary, and these are kind of exactly what they say. You may have an idea of a color or two colors that you want to use, and this is them. Then you've got your accent color. Your accent is going to be the color that you don't see too often, but it's just used to kind of pick out little extra details and really give that point of interest. Third is going to be your technical. This is kind of what I call it when you've got, like the parts, the machinery, the guns, the kind of the bits that might not necessarily want to be a color. Usually these are going to be metallic, like either a silver, a bronzy, a coppery, whatever, but they can also be kind of black or white or gray, or even if you want all your kind of technical bits and pieces to be a color, that's fine too. But I kind of find it useful to differentiate between the armor and the basic colors and the kind of the bits and pieces that look like machinery. So the next one is going to be the badass color. Now, this is not necessarily its own color. What it is probably going to be either your secondary color or your accent color, where this is kind of is going to fit in with your main colors. However, the fact that it shows up more on certain badass units is going to mark them out as badass. So we'll go through this a bit more later on and it will make sense. And finally, we're going to have the command colors, which also can be another of our previously mentioned colors, or it can be its own color. If we look at Ultramarines, we can see they usually use a lot of blue and gold, or yellow sometimes. And then a lot of the time you'll see there's like red used for kind of veteran style colors, and then white used for command. So yeah, look at here, you've got kind of the red that kind of delineates them as like specialists, veterans, that kind of thing. And then if you get like your chapter masters, your commanders, things like that, they'll tend to have a bit more red and white as well. So that's kind of what I mean by that. Now, as I say, these first kind of 2/3 colors are usually going to be 3 different colors, and then after that it's kind of figuring out what you want to do, really. So though, let's keep those in mind as we go forward. Now, there are 2 tools that I like to use when I'm just kind of starting a color scheme. I find the color scheme the most fun part of starting a new army. It's so cool having that blank canvas and being able to pick that. However, it can be quite difficult. So these are what helped me. And the first one is going to be coolers.co. Everything here I will link down in the description, so you can go and check them out if you want to. But effectively what this is a site where I think it's meant for, like, I think I've seen people use this when they're decorating their home to see what colors go together. So I guess, I don't know, you can kind of coordinate your Space Marines with your bedroom if you want, if that's what you're into. I don't know. Basically, we click on this, we can put as many colors as we want. I normally like to start with 3, and then you press the space button and it will just kind of randomly generate colors that look quite nice together. It uses a lot of stuff that we don't really need to go into. And then from here, say we decide we like something, so say we like this nice purple color, we can then lock it in and we can just see, ooh, that's kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah, maybe maybe not. Maybe I'll keep that and see. But yeah, as you can see, you can just go through and yeah, pick, and it will just kind of pick stuff. You can also, if you want, if you have a color in mind, say you go, oh, I really like just a bright red. Where's the, oh, no, not that one. Oh yeah, you click here, you can just go pow, and there we go. We've got a bright red. We get rid of that. We do that, and then we can just hit the space and see what it suggests to match with bright red. The second one is Peloton. Again, this will be shared down below. And this one would help us if we wanted to go a bit more into the color theory. So you can see here that you've got these little dials. So you can choose like a single color here where you choose your hue and it'll give you various shades. You can move this center bit around, and then it will give you the kind of, like, you can make it desaturated, more saturated, you can move it towards the darker, and you get an idea of how the kind of various colors look together. If you decide you want everything on the similar side of the color wheel, this is what I've done with my Guardian, my Eldar, which we'll go through later. You can get some really nice effects when you stick to like one side of the color palette. Like you get like a lot of colors that work quite nicely together, or you can go for these opposing colors where your green here is going to really stand out against these kind of these opposite sides, where like your orange and your pink are going to help your green really stand out quite a lot, and then you've got your two opposing ones as well, and you can kind of move those around. So this really helps get just like an idea of the palette there. So I'm just going to use this for now. There's actually quite a cool set of colors. Maybe we'll just use let's use the gray as our main one, shall we? Yeah. So and then what I like to do is whatever I'm doing, so I can just go into Google and go Space Marine. What do we want to say? Colorable template, and I've already downloaded one, but you can see you get loads of different options here. So I'm a digital artist, so I use Critter because I'm an artist and it's a free program, and free is always the best price for me, baby. So you could always just use like Paint, use the fill function in Paint, and that is perfectly fine. So I've done one for my Eldar here, and then there's also this one, which I believe is a official kind of thing that GW put out, but I'm not entirely sure about that. So if you're using Critter, then what I like to do is filter colors and color to alpha. We select white, and then it turns anything white to alpha there, and then I can just add a background there, make that white, and then here we are. We can add a new layer and color behind it. You don't really need to worry about that, but that's just kind of my workflow. So how we're going to do this is I'm going to find my colors. I think I'll do this just to condense them a little bit. Just shrink it down, and then I can just do that to get the colors. We will copy it into here, and now as you can see, it's come behind there and we have those colors. So let's do a quick time lapse. I'm just going to start with the main color. So in this case, I don't necessarily want these two to have equal weighting. I'm going to do this as my main color and the green as my secondary color, and you will see what that means. So let's do a time lapse. Awesome, very basically done there, and that is looking boring as hell. Don't know why I went for grey, but whatever. Okay, this is going to be a very muted palette, I guess. So then we're looking for the secondary colour. Now this can just be anything. Obviously the classic Space Marine thing is that you kind of do these shoulder pads like that. You do your trim there. Maybe we do the Imperial sigil thing. You know, we do stuff like that. And then, you know, maybe you're feeling a little bit saucy and you want to go against the kind of classic. So maybe you do your shoulder pads like this, and I don't know, maybe we do a knee pad as well. Why not? Let's just go wild, shall we? So yeah. So now the red is just going to be the accent. So what am I going to do here? We want this to be kind of something that only shows up when you look really close. So maybe the eyes are red. Maybe the markings here are red. Maybe they have, I don't know, something there. Squiggly line. That's their chapter marking, is the squiggly line. These are the squiggles. So now you can see we're getting this overall idea, and actually this bright saturation does look kind of cool. It really stands out on these muted green and grey colours. And then, yeah, say that's our main colour. So now we can see at an overall glance, you're going to just be seeing this. A lot of this with little accents of this. But when we go in close, we've got some details. And now, and this is where this kind of sheet comes in quite handy, maybe we say, oh, actually, we're going to do our badass colour, so our veterans, maybe they will be bright red. So maybe we then say, for these guys, we have a red helmet. And you can have a look at this and you can see, actually, yeah, if I have a unit like this and then I have a unit of bright red helmets, those guys are going to stand out something fierce. They're going to be awesome, aren't they? They're going to look very spicy. So then we kind of go, okay, so now we need our technical color. Maybe we want like a dark metallic kind of silver. And let's see, maybe we just, actually no, we've already got some muted colors. So maybe we go for like a bronzy color. And then maybe we just say, yeah, okay. Just because I don't really have that much going on here, I do these, and maybe these parts go on like this, and if we imagine those as metallic for now, that's fine. But then we can also have a look at here. So here's the gun. These are all our technical bits, as I like to call them. And then we've got our secondary color for the casing of the gun. And actually, that looks pretty cool, I think. If someone wants to do this paint scheme and tag me, then please do. Yeah, kind of bronzy color with that green, and that looks awesome. So we've got our technical color here. We can tell that any parts that look like they're kind of machinery are going to be this. Maybe we even do that in between there. And then any veterans, these are going to be marked by this. Our regular dudes are just going to have the classic gray, and then they kind of look uniform. And then for this, because it's quite dark now, maybe we do also go for white as our command color. So yeah, maybe we do a stripe of white down here, and that's how you tell. Like maybe a sergeant of the veteran squads is white, maybe the sergeant of the basic squads has a white stripe there, so you've got some delineation. And again, you just play around. Maybe you do a thing here, but you can see that the principles I've stuck to are keeping this as my main color. You can't look at this and say this isn't mostly gray, and using this as my overall thing, and then just using my my accent color sparingly. So that's how that goes. Okay. So once we've done this, we can go for our test minis. And I do have a few that I did at first. So I decided my pink and purple scheme actually started out as a pink and like green or blue scheme. I kind of wanted these to be contrasting colors. If we look at the color wheel over here, we can see that like my pink is somewhere around here and we've got green there. So I kind of wanted to make it like this. However, I got to the test mini and I realized that actually this pink is so vibrant that really I didn't want another vibrant color. Even the green looking quite dark like that was just detracting from the entire model. So I decided to go with the purple, just because then, as you can see here, we've got this nice scheme where you can see we've got the pink and the purple. They stay nice and close together like that. And then they help with the accent color. It really stands out now. Where are we? There we go. The accent color of this bluey teal. I did decide to keep that in there, just in a much more toned down way, and now it really stands out, and these have this nice effect. Then you can also see I've used white because Eldar use Wraithbone. I don't think they really work that well with metallics, so I've gone for a kind of almost white kind of grey colour, and again I've used that secondary colour on the casing there just to really help that stand out. I think guns always look awesome when they have the secondary colour. But yeah, do your test minis. I would always advise kind of finding something. These were some old Guardians I had. I got these out of storage and I wasn't going to use them because the newer Guardians came out and they were much better looking, so these are just going to be thrown away anyway. You can use them, do some tests, and then as I say, I realised I didn't quite like it how I'd originally planned it and was able to change it. Let's have another example. So my scheme for my Cabalites is yellow and red, again keeping in that same, apparently I love keeping colour schemes not contrasting and just in the same kind of area on the colour wheel. I don't really know what that is, but I did these as a yellow, and you can see here where I used a bit of my logic, because I decided to do the yellow as the armor, the hard parts, and the red as the soft parts. So that helped me decide that like these tabards were going to be red and most of the armor was going to be yellow. But then I've got a few bits of purple that you can't really see here, and you can see on the Archon here he has more purple. So with this, I kind of rolled my command color and my badass color into one, and kind of had purple and bronze. Like the more bronze you see on a model, the more badass it is. The more purple you see, the more badass it is. So you can see here that I've kind of gone away from the strict scheme, but I've also applied those and made it kind of work for this. So the more purple you see, the more badass they are, and he's the commander, so he has a lot of this yellow and the red, and I did some cool effects there. And then finally you've got these incubi who are all purple because they're the badass mercenary soldiers, and yeah, I'm really happy with how they turned out actually. So yeah, just some examples. Finally, let's have another look at the Space Marines. My wife wanted a tea themed chapter. So you can see we've got the little teapots there. I decided that maybe I couldn't really make something tea themed so easily, so I decided to make it kind of around the East India Trading Company, and they were very like regal, like, oh, British colonialism. It's awful, but you know, we love it as a theme for a dystopian army. Why not? So I went with gold and the kind of blue, red, white, and blue, but in the British version as the kind of heraldry. I've gone for blue as the secondary color, gold as the main color, and white as an accent color there. So you can see the veterans, they have all this blue and that's been used as the badass color. We've used white as the command color. The sergeant there has this white stripe. Same for here. So you can see how that applies. As I say, this was very unplanned. This was just kind of thrown together last minute. Hopefully, even if it's been a bit rambly, you've found something useful here. If you've enjoyed this, then I would appreciate if you give it a like and a subscribe. I mean, even if you haven't enjoyed it, give it a like and subscribe, and then comment why you didn't like it. That, yeah, if you found something useful and you want me to expand in another video, then please, by all means, let me know. If you want to be an absolute badass and be in a blue helmet, then also check out my Patreon, my coffee, anything like that, anything that supports the channel. I was made redundant last month, so please, I need to eat. I'm joking. Don't feel guilty if you don't. Maybe feel a little bit guilty if you don't. And that is it. So yeah, bye.